everybody, Carson here, here for the end of the year wrap up 2022 shelf tour. I know people like really watching people's collections grow and seeing what people have. I did one last year, and if you've watched that, you'll see that my collection grew probably too fast over the course of this last year. I had a little bit too much expendable cash and not enough self-control to try and do better next year. But also people have been very kind, especially towards the end of the year here. A lot of people have been sending books, and that's amazing. And so that's really ballooned my collection. There's even a lot of stuff that's not here, a lot of things that I enjoy, but that aren't things that I'm going to be pulling off my shelf frequently. I'll take them to work and put them there for the students as well. So a lot of the books that I've gotten over this last year, things I've purchased and things that have been sent to me, some of them are there as well. But this is what I've kept for my personal collection, the things that I tell myself I would like to pull off the shelf and just look at anytime. But as you keep getting new stuff, you don't really have as much time for that as you thought. So that's maybe my goal for 2023 is to go back and review some of the older books and slow down on the newer stuff, maybe if I can. But there's just so much good stuff coming out. I have a hard time stopping myself. So anyways, I'll give you a tour. They're kind of spread around the house. We don't have like a dedicated room for it, but here we go. I guess we can kind of give like a tour of the little office production studio here as well. This is where I record from for all of the videos we do. This is where my camera goes to do the videos, and the books go down there. This board that you're all used to seeing, that's just an old drawing board. I'm using this background. These are, me and Tori are working on a coloring book. She was contributing to this, and I'm finishing them up. So that will be something that we're just going to do privately. But yeah, that's my workstation. That's where I conduct all my classes. I do all my art. I do all my videos. That's my spaceship right there. All my drugs. A gigantic box here of all my comp copies of Abolition of Man. Probably once this series is totally done, I'll start selling these off a little bit at a time, signed copies of them, since they're pretty rare. Once you get past issue 1, the orders dropped by about 2/3, so the later issues are pretty rare. So that's probably something, if people missed out, that I'll get rid of. But it's pretty gratifying to have like a whole box just full of floppy comics that I've made. That's really cool. The box will go, here's my reading chair. That's where I do all my reading. And then back here, I've got some extra You Don't Know Jack and Strange Death of Alex Raymond related stuff. So this is my little book storage spot. But anyways, the shelf tour. I'll just go through. I try to categorize them, but as the collection's bloated, it gets harder to keep everything categorized. But this is kind of like the best American comics anthologies, and then these are just books, like Box Office Poison, Stuck Rubber Baby, that seem, like they would be in this kind of like canon type of view of comics. Then we've got like mostly like horror manga stuff here, my few Junji Ito books, the Umez books that I've got. I didn't really like Orochi, so I'm not going to get the rest of these. I do need to fill out my Ito collection. Really like PTSD Radio. I got some JoJo's from number 3. So I have 1 through 3 of number 3 and 1 of number 1. I got these for Christmas, so now I need to fill in the gaps, but I know there's a lot. And we haven't talked about this because me, Sean, and Brandon all really want to talk about this book. But this really was one of the cooler mangas I got in 2022. This shelf is more just like big hardcover, I don't know, not hardcover, but image stuff. This is like Matt Fraction. I guess like more mainstream stuff like that, but also like Tales to Enlighten by our buddy Matt King and James Edward Clark, just stuff like that. Daniel Warren Johnson. I don't know, this is kind of loosely categorized because we've got Berlin and Dagger. Been picking up some Criminal just here and there, used from Second and Charles. So a lot of the reason that my collection has grown so big over this last year is we live really close to 2 Second and Charles, which always both have amazing, like stuff like this will be on sale for like half off or less. And then also I have an Ollie's in town by me, and I go there once a month and find a lot of really good deals. I haven't found anything there in a while, but a lot of the more mainstream stuff is coming from those two sources. So I'm just building up old things that I like. Echo Lands is really cool. This is another just kind of random shelf. I got all my obnoxiously long comics right here. And then some really big Craig Thompson, just some more like serious stuff, Nick Drasano. This is all my gigantic books right down here. I don't think I've added much to this since last time. I need to get the 2 new re-release of Volume 1 and number 7 of this just came out. I think Fantagraphics owes me one. I'm pretty sure I pre-ordered that, and I'll have to check with them. My Cerebus stuff, and then we've added to that with, I don't know, Puma Blues. That seems related to Cerebus. Just some other stuff. We got the Alax Center books this year. Above that, this is all, this is Kent Williams, The Fountain. This is my Dave McKean section. I'm a huge Dave McKean fan, so you can imagine when we interviewed him this year, I was just through the roof. I think that's probably the most nervous and most excited I've been by an interview, because obviously I hold him in very high regard. And then Ashley Wood and Frank Miller stuff, and then the Frank Miller collabs with Jeff Darrow over here. This I've always really liked, this big black and white. I need to get the color version of that, though. I've never had that. I'm really sad that I got this really nice hardcover, hard-boiled, but I can't find the Shaolin Cowboy ones. I can't find the Rusty the Robot and Big Guy ones. I would really like a complete hardcover Darrow collection eventually. Above that is like this big sci-fi manga. I've got Ghost in the Shell on order, so that's going to go here. Hopefully I'll eventually get an Appleseed hardcover, but the nice Battle Angel and Akira hardcover collections, and I think a Ghost in the Shell will really round out that collection. This is my Inio Asano shrine right here. Really looking forward to the final volume of Dead Demon's Destruction, or whatever that is. Really excited this year. I did not think I was going to be able to get this without overpaying, because I think 5, 9, 11, and 12 were all out of print for a long time and going for absurd prices online. But I was able to, I think they came back in print, and this is something I've been wanting for a long time. I had read most of it digitally a long time ago. I've started reading Volume 1, and I realized that this is something that me and Sean should go through. So this is something I've been looking at and flipping through, but I haven't read, and I don't know that I read all the way up to here digitally. So I can't wait to get into these, but we're just waiting for the time. It's hard not to skip ahead, but what'll happen is if I read it now and then we talk about it months later, I'll forget. And then I just have some extra space here I'm filling up. I think it didn't seem like people were terribly interested in these modern illustrating books. We were doing videos on them and scanning them, but people just didn't seem that interested. So I don't know what to do with those. If anyone has an idea, oh, that's bad. No, there's the finished version. Here's me trying to do a drawing with a razor blade for the first time. It can come out terrible. Kirk's face looks terrible. But this is for one of our patrons, Brian Coppola, who's an amazing patron and has been backing us at the $25 tier, which gets you in competition for a sketch. We're going to be taking that away because I just don't have time. But Brian has made away with a whole bunch of these sketches, so that will be sent to him soon. This is my like Zach Davidson and Ryan Holmberg shelf. Like all of this is all the Mizuki stuff. I just got these Showas, so I just started reading this one, but I'm really looking forward to that. I've read all this stuff. I don't think he's the greatest writer, but I love his art. I really love him as a historian. His Hitler one was really good. This one was really good, and the Onward Towards a Noble Death. I like these historical ones better than the Kataros, but really excited to read these. And then this is all the Holmberg translated stuff. I've really not just because Sean's worked with him on Plaza, but his taste in manga is so good that anytime he does a book, I'm going to get it. And then this shelf here is my craziest shelf. This is basically all of the indie and small press stuff, a lot of stuff that's been sent to me. Like this is a sub, Buzza Wuzza has sent this. This will be in a mailbag. I'm going to start doing mailbag videos, I think. So a lot of this stuff, I've probably talked about a lot of it. Oh, I've never talked about these. My uncle gave me these, and I know these are now probably well sought after. I've seen big hardcover collections, but I've always had these. My uncle gave them to me. They're really cool. The Wits End, but just a lot of really cool, like risographs and real special productions on this. Here's some stuff I haven't read, or I just don't have a place for it. I need to read all of this still. So these are things we're going to be talking to Tom Kaczynski from Uncivilized. He sent over all of his work that he had and a whole bunch of other stuff like ginseng roots. I'll show you some other stuff, West. So we're going to do hopefully a big interview with him, and we'll be doing a big review of ginseng roots, and me and Sean will talk about West. And then I haven't read this, but I really wanted this. Tori really wanted it. And hopefully we're going to talk to Alexis Deakin, who did Curse of the Chosen. He's a huge Miyazaki fan. So hopefully we get to talk about this with him pretty soon, because it's really new and it looks gorgeous. So I can't wait to read all those. And then this here is probably my favorite shelf. This is the, I don't even know the word, but these are just like the shelf of people I just adore and worship. And so you have people like Jordan Crane, John McNaught, Roman Muradov, Connor Schulte, Evan Cohen, Chad. Chad is another guy that we need to talk to. Chad Bilyeu. His Chad in Amsterdam is fantastic. I have reviews recorded for these, but I haven't dropped them yet because we got the re-up, and I've got a preview of the re-up number 2, but it hasn't dropped yet. So we're going to do a big interview with Chad, and the reviews for Chad in Amsterdam will drop. I really, really love that series, and hopefully I'll be able to contribute something to it. But Veronica Mukic, sorry. Gareth Brooks, E.S. Glenn. This is all Andrew White. And then we get Matt Madden and Roger Bignon. So just people who have like a pretty significant, except for Veronica Mukic. She only has one book out yet. But people have significant bodies of work. And this is kind of the art coming to comics rather than comics going to art school shelf, I guess, in my mind, too. I think these are people who are all just really leveling it up. So this is my favorite shelf. But now it's full, so I'm going to have to get... You'll see I have another favorite shelf going on. These two shelves are a lot of the stuff I got in the Fantagraphics Fanabucks sale. So this is totally my Fantagraphics sale. Tim Lane's another guy that could be on the shelf above who has a significant body of work. But he fits with the Fantagraphic, all the nows. So that's cool. Hip Hop Family Tree, really happy to have copies of those. This is more moving into like European stuff. So we have, I think, the mostly complete Cities of the Fantastic. It's a mix between the old, well, that's a Milo Manara. Only Milo Manara book I own so far. But yeah, the old NBM hardcovers, I'm going to keep those. And then either... like the ones that I don't have in that version, I'm getting the new IDW ones, like the Wallace Samaras, or like Fever and Urbicand. I now have both versions because one is in black and white and color, but that's one of my favorite series. Black Sad, Rourke by Andreas. Those are some old ones I've had for a long time. And then some other people with big bodies of work who I love. So Manuel Fior, a European artist who I really adore. And then one of my all-time favorites right now, who's being run through the coals because of drawing comics with Kid with the Big Boner. Apparently, that's getting him kicked out of Angloom. But I really love his work. I do find some of it bordering on uncomfortable, but in a way that's worth reading. So that's my Bastien Vives. Really happy that The Last Man is coming out. And then these are his collaborations with Rupert Amola, and then Rupert Amola collaborating with Olivier Schrowen, and then I need to get the other one of these Charles Burns books. So they're kind of organized like that. And then we'll take a turn to this shelf here. Excuse me, I'm a little out of breath. We're recovering from illness. But here's all my Kabuki. I really want to go back to Kabuki. I haven't looked at it. Here's just some random manga stuff. I needed room to put it, like bigger Stranger manga. This is another book that we really need to... I was going to do a review, and then I sent it to Sean, like, hey, check this out. And I've just been holding off until we can do it together. But really recommend that book. You know the ones that are waiting to be reviewed because they got sticky notes. And then a bunch of floppies that I grabbed at Second and Charles. So an almost complete run of American Flag, which I've read some of, but not all of it yet. Looking forward to that. And then some old comics that I've kept a hold of. A lot of old manga that I found at Second and Charles. And some other newer stuff. Oh, Dwellings. This is really good. J. Stevens' Dwellings. So that's kind of where I put my floppies. This is some more stuff that Tom Kaczynski sent. Gabriel Bell's comic. Me and Sean are definitely going to do a video on autobiography comics talking about Gabriel Bell's. I got this from Tori for Christmas. Thermae Rome. A gigantic hardcover manga. It's probably the heaviest one of these size books that I own. Just started reading it. I've got about that far, but really enjoying this book, so you can look forward to a video of that. Also, Boat Life is something me and Sean intend to talk about. I have a bunch of other little comics here, some Max Huffman, a bunch of Max Huffman stuff. He's another one who could be over on the other shelf. I just ran out of room. Kind of Fist of the North Star and some random mangas that I'll eventually, like these, I would like to have full series of. This is another kind of like auteur shelf. You got people like with big bodies of work like Dash Shaw. I just got all this Andrew Cooper Nero stuff. It's all self-published. It was awesome. There's a video on that we'll be dropping that I've already read this and recorded a video. I think I've got all the Jim Rugg stuff. I'm waiting for the Holt Grand Design, but really big fan of Jim's. And this is a bunch of stuff I got from Piao on their closing sale. So those actually just came today. I haven't read those yet. Got this for Christmas after Sean had me read What's Michael. Someone bought that for me. And then this is my Yokoyama Yuichi, so I've got as much of his stuff as I can. And then this is all my sketchbooks, and then some other really big things that I'm still working on reading. So these are all things that haven't had videos yet. But some of these graphic canons, still working on the 8-Ball. I talked to Sean about Peplum. Me and Tori probably can talk about Addams Family. I'm going one page a day with this Jodorowsky book. And then one of my favorite finds this year were these 2-volume encyclopedia of cartoons from the New Yorker. And I got these at Ollie's for, I think it was 25 or 30 bucks. I mean, this should have been like $100-something collection, but Ollie's is just like, things that didn't sell. And so they're selling them for like a quarter of the price or something. And I was just thinking about how I wanted to focus more on cartooning. And then a couple weeks later, I found these, and I've been going through them, here and there, really just slowly taking it in. This is a part of comics that I never really paid attention to, is cartooning and like those one strip illustration type of cartooning. So I'm trying to expand my knowledge into that area. Pen and sticky notes here. And then on the bottom, we got another auteur collection here, significant body of work. Just needed big shelves. This is all the stuff that Tommy Masturi sent over. I think he only charged me for shipping, so thank you, Tommy. But his Future was one of my top books of the year. His stuff just blew my mind. And then a whole bunch of more. This is kind of just like sci-fi shelf, I guess. We got like the Decadence guys. I don't know. These people all just seem related to me for some reason. Decadence, Guillaume March. I got most of Brandon's stuff. I still need to get his Prophet, and I guess there was a second Multiple Warheads book. This said it was complete, so I didn't think I needed another one. I really need to grow my Paul Pope collection, but I got a few, and I know Brandon talks about them all the time, so I put them together. And then just some of these other European books and bigger books down here. John Mahoney's Zentropa. I was so excited to get this. Pestering John, we become good friends. I've been pestering him. Let me buy one of those. I don't have any. And he found a copy and sent me this. And this is just a gorgeous book. I've done a review on it. I just hope he could reprint it, because I think there would be way more interest in it now. It's a gorgeous book. But thank you, John, for that. That's really great. So that's my office. Now I'm going to jump into the bedroom. All right, this is as far as I feel comfortable backing up in the bedroom. I feel like I get in trouble if I showed anything else. I also have been wiping the shelves down before I record, because I think Tori probably get mad at me if I posted a video with dusty shelves. But we've got 2 Labradors. They shed all the time. This is really, I think the big showcase one. Once we were like, okay, we need to add bookshelves, where are we going to put them? We put it in the bedroom. It's like, okay, all the nice looking books, big collections have to go in the bedroom so it looks nice and is not distressing and chaotic. So this is pretty much my Shuzo Oshimi collection here. This is Akane Toriaki But these are all just very serious dramas, and the work that's probably been impacting me the most over the last year in terms of storytelling and things like that. Bacchus, Strangers in Paradise. I picked these up really cheap at Comic-Con. I thought they had a loose one that was hardcover for $25, and then they were selling this box set for $75, I think, and I talked them down to $50, thinking I was buying 2 hardcovers. Like, you got this hardcover for $25, so 2 of them should be $50. And I got home and it's softcover. But whatever, I got a complete Strangers in Paradise, which is great. Lore Olympus, we have volume 3 too. Me, Tori, and Sean are going to talk about volume 2, and then probably me and Tori back to volume 3. Square, done a video on this, really cool. Ciguatera, another thing that would go well up here. There's the Berserk shelf, and it's now number 12, which I'm reading currently, goes there. So as that grows, I don't know, Blade of the Immortal is going to grow too, and it's going to need its own probably 2 shelf, 3 shelf. I don't know, how big is this going to go? It's probably bigger than all that, but looks cool because we've got this, I mean, we didn't plan this, but we've got this black, white, and gray, and we've got the nice gray there and the white and the black, so we're really happy with that. This is all my badasses of pen and ink, so mostly Sergio Topi, but also Breccia here, and we've got, I'm going to blank on his name, Paul Kirchner. Yeah, really nice black and white books, and then just some other big stuff because it's a big shelf. This I've had forever, but this is a really nice, complete, really well produced Little Nemo and Slumberland book. I've had this for a long time. I don't even remember where I got that. And this Parker book, I really like the content of the book, but once Matt Battaglia's House on Fire is printed, I'm going to scan both, and I'm going to show you what a terrible job IDW did on Darwin Cook's art. It's really disappointing for such a big, beautiful, expensive book. And then this is all my Jiro Taniguchi stuff. That's an artist that I need to round out as much as I can from Pokemon. We met those guys at Comic-Con, and really, really nice, so I got to get to that. These are a bunch of big hardcovers that I pretty much got all from Second and Charles, except Lowe. No, these Rick Remender ones. He's probably my favorite mainstream writer right now. These I bought, but all of this has been picked up for half off. Maybe one of the Umbrella Academies and I think I got 2 of these half off and had to buy one to round it out. All 3 of these sagas I got half off. So really happy to have these complete collections of all these things. Down here, some more, the new Love and Rockets box set, all my Barry Windsor Smith stuff. And then this is just these will eventually move as this Terry and the Pirates levels up to all 13 volumes. Got the subscription for that. And I've read the first one. We'll be getting to these 2 soon. Probably won't do a review on those, no real reason. But these are gorgeous. You should definitely, if you can, buy these things. Then this is kind of my Jodorowsky related sci-fi shelf. So a lot of Jodorowsky, Jimenez, and Moebius. Some Hip Flask because Ledron worked with Jodorowsky on the ink all. Really enjoying this Jodorowsky library. Really happy I finally got Metabarons. And then for now, we'll just let Infinity 8 hang out because it's European sci-fi from Louis Trondheim. Blade of the Immortal, growing. This is, well, except for Castle Waiting. I just need a place to put it. These are all the actual books I own. Not very many actual books, but mostly just philosophy and art stuff that I don't have digitally. Most of, if I read a philosophy or something, it's digital, so I don't buy the books. But the Luciano Floridi books are kind of the most important ones for me, the ones on information and things like that. And then here is my other set of books, but I don't know. I think of these as more as like in-between books and comics, because these are all books that have graphic features to them or heavily designed, or they just need to, I've done a series of videos on all of these books, and these are books that like have to be physical really to work, and so that's this collection. Unfortunately, this is 5 of what's supposed to be 27, and apparently that's never going to get finished. But Mark Danielowski, this is my Danielowski chunk right here, and he's absolutely my favorite author, and this was my favorite thing by him, and I'm so sad there's 22 volumes that will never get released. And then Ryan Hughes has become someone that's just like an absolute, I think he's a genius. And then I know Richard McGuire is a comic, but it kind of fits well with these ones up here. So that's what that shelf is. All right, to the living room. In the living room, we have the big mega shelf, which is just like 5 Walmart shelves that I screwed together so they're more stable. There's Bucha over there, who's one of the reasons that especially my bottom comic shelves here always have dog hair on them. Yeah, thanks a lot, Booch. So anyways, up here is all Tori's books that she had brought with her when we moved, and some things that she's picked up since. A couple things worth note on here, just fun. For Valentine's Day last year, I knew that she liked Anne McCaffrey's Dragon Riders of Pern series, and I managed to find a place selling them online used that was like cobbling together complete collections of all of them. And I was horrified to see that they had library plastic and stickers all over them still when they came in, but apparently that gave Tori big nostalgia, so she really likes that, so that worked. And then she has a painting that she bought from one of my students, Jay, which is a great painting. And she's also got a cool little print somewhere. I don't know where it's at. This is another really special book that I bought her. One of her favorite books is Murakami's Kafka on the Shore, and so this is a really nice edition of that book that has some illustrations in it and stuff, but a really nice box hardcover of that. So those are just some cool things that are up on her shelves. This one's not really changed much since last year's. Chris Ware and Michael DeForge. I've maybe added that one book. This hasn't changed. This is all everything that I had to have preparing for Strange Death of Alex Raymond. So you've got Stan Drake's Kelly Green, The Heart of Juliet Jones, the entire Mary Perkins on Stage, which is phenomenal piece of comic strips, art and writing. Most of these other ones are all awesome art, but abysmal writing. Star Wars by Al Williamson, X9 by Al Williamson, and the Rip Kirby stuff. And then this is a biography on Alex Raymond. So those are things I needed for reference, but were really enjoyable. We've got a couple for when Tori's son Jack stays with us. He usually stays with us for 6-7 weeks in the summer. We've got 2 shelves that he knows he can grab anything off of and read them. So this has, stuff like Little Monarchs. This is all of our buddy Jimmy Gownley's stuff, the Amelia Rules series, and a couple of his other books. Seizen and Comic Girl, which I've had for a while now, and we still need to review that. It's a cool color manga. A bunch of Urasawa stuff. I don't know if Master Keaton's appropriate for him. I'll have to relook at that. But I think Azadora is great for kids. Brian Lee O'Malley, the complete Tintin. I'm starting to build up Lucky Luke. Well, sorry, this is the Matthew Bonhomme. But I'm starting to build up a Asterisk collection too when I'm finding them like half off, just getting these. One of them's hardcover, the other are soft cover, but really, really like Asterix. Tintin's harder for me, but we've been having a pretty stressful few months, so I'm really feeling like I'm primed for Tintin and Asterix, and Terry and the Pirates is the kind of stuff I want to be reading right now, honestly. Then I've got my big Kirkman chunk here, so Walking Dead and Invincible are complete. I'm getting Firepower and Oblivion Song as they come out, and a couple other Kirkman. I need to get the rest of his stuff, because I really like Robert Kirkman. Fantastic artist. And then just some other random like image books, because I need somewhere to put them for now. This will probably be a bigger shelf. And some other stuff like True Story, Swear to God by Tom Bettard. Oh, this was a really good book that was self-published this year, Pet Human. If you haven't seen this, I did a review on that. That's really good. So just some other random stuff. These are all things that I picked up in Second and Charles because they were like $4 a piece or something like that. And they're series that I'm aware of, artists that I'm aware of, things like that. Here's more of the kids' books. So all the Jeff Smith stuff. The Rozelle's over here because it's a little more adult. But I still have my Jeff Smith all in order. This is the 2120 that really frustrated me, but it's fun because it's a game.
And then just a lot of this stuff, like I think Menachem sent this kind of stuff, or stuff that we've bought specifically for Jack. So like I enjoyed the Raina Telgemeier. But yeah, Delicates and Sheets was really good. There's a lot of good stuff on here, but a lot of this is kids books. And when I was like really getting into YA books and kind of exploring, I bought a lot of these as well. But they're really great to have. Over here, I don't know, there's really an organizational system. They just fit. This is all my Sam Keith stuff. I wish they would put these back in production, these nice hardcover Macs. I think I'm missing like the final. I have a lot of them in the old Wildstorm soft covers. I never finished it, but man, I would really love to have the Max Maximized hardcovers. And then it seemed sensible to put Sienkiewicz's Stray Toasters here as well. I heard he was going to crowdfund a hardcover, and I would support the hell out of that, but I haven't seen it. And then just some really good manga that I like. A couple things that I just read. Barefoot Gin, which is essential. Girl on the Other Side, which just had a 12th volume that closed it off. Really enjoyed that series. I'm hoping that these A Silent Voice do good enough that To Your Eternity, which Menachem was kind enough to send me these for free because they were damaged. They were banged up in the corner. I would love for that to be in this hardcover. Down here, this hasn't changed much. This is like the Alan Moore shelf. Probably Promethea is my favorite thing on here. And another thing that, I really love is the Complete Absolute Promethea. Or what I would really, really love, actually, my dream is to somehow get the license from DC to do the, like for Living the Line, to do a double spread, like where it's printed both pages on one. I know they were going to do the omnibus that had all issues, and I've always wanted that book, and I have visions for what it could be with like gold inks and black light and all that. I mean, who knows if it's someone else's book, but God, I just love that series. It's so influential. And then just some other like really kind of formalist type of stuff, and just some random books: Sean Tan's Leaf, Asteros Polyp, Peter Croper's The System, just stuff like that. So nowhere near a complete Alan Moore collection. And I actually got rid of Jerusalem. And I still have Voice of Fire, but I really hated Jerusalem, like to the point that there's a lot of Alan Moore stuff I don't even think I could read anymore because he retroactively ruined my opinion of his work with that book. But I'd like to go back and do like a complete Alan Moore reread at some point. Here is a bunch of my No Brow Press books. I really just value them as a publisher, especially the older books of theirs where they could still afford to do these nice hardcovers. I think with paper costs, they've moved more to like this format. They still do impeccable production and stuff, but it's just these older ones, and I wish I had the money to go and buy everything they had before they just disappeared and become unavailable. But they're older books, like these ones are just absolutely gorgeous. And then some other just related things, like really bright, colorful books is kind of how I'm organizing this section. And then this is all my, like Tilly Walden and Gigi, who I really love. She's kind of disappeared off of the face of the earth. One of my favorite artists of the last few years, really, really influenced where I want to go with my art. And I don't know, she had a Patreon, but she kind of just disappeared. Jillian Tamaki, stuff like that. Just really great books. And then down here is more like, well, we got all my Will Eisner stuff that I've picked up. There's a really cool one in here. One of these that I picked up at Second and Charles. Maybe it's this one with Jules Pfeiffer. I don't know. One of these had a signature in it. And here we go. A Will Eisner signature. And I got it for like $5. I didn't know it was a signed book. So that was my favorite Second and Charles find probably. So I've got a pretty good Eisner collection. I don't think I have everything. And then there's more like education, comics education and comics theory, like Nick Susanis' Unflattening. Me and Sean really need to talk about this. It's been neglectful of us to not cover this book. This is so important, and I don't hear a lot of people talk about it. But then, yeah, just like the Scott McCloud and Perspective for Comic Artists. And then just some other real, like, formalist stuff, like the Giant Beard and canon stuff like Mouse. And just some random things that just kind of fit in there. And then over here is pretty much, this is just like what I've done in my life, which doesn't look like much, but just, catalogs from art shows that I've been in, my grad school kind of yearbook, I guess. It was like a collection of everyone's art. The program from the Eisner Awards, all the Living the Line stuff. Actually, this is a good one. This is a comic that I wrote with a friend in high school and then illustrated myself over summer break and spent all of my sophomore year in graphic design. Back then, graphic design class was actually more like how to use a printing press. And so I printed this whole book myself. I shot the negatives, I burned the plates, I ran the printing press, I put the ink in it. Like, I did all the like lettering and computer mock-up. Like, I did everything on this book, and it's awful art. I mean, I was like 15 when I made it, and it was my first book. And then my local comic shop that I'd been going to since I was in third grade, Bonanza Books and Comics. They're closed now, but they did a signing party for me, so that's the little thing for that. So I still have like 2 or 3 copies of those. My first professionally printed work is in this book here, Ink Punks Quarterly. This was by Funkatron Press, which was Robert Kirkman's independent company that he had before he went to Image and blew up. So there was a bunch of us on Pencil Jack, which was a forum for artists, and I got to work with a lot of those guys on here, like EJSU, who did that, does a lot of Transformers and art still. He created a Tech Jacket with Kirkman. This is John Boy Myers was in this book. I did this one, Chaser's Moon, with Bruce Brown, who went on to write a lot of stuff for Kirkman, like Brit and things like that, before he died way too early from cancer. And I don't remember who did Kung Fu Sally. But that was my first professional thing that ever got published. My first thing that ever got published was a piece of fan art in Pit Crew #2. So I still have copies of all that stuff. I think it's important to be able to go look back at those things. And then that goes up to like Abolition of Man and some Cerebus and Hell stuff that Dave's used my art for. These are some books I've made, some other things that me and Dave made. The Previews magazine that Strange Death got advertised in, because I loved preview. I loved looking at previews. Sorry, my foot over there. That's gross. I used to love looking through these so much. And Strange Death of Alex Raymond. And then this was a major competition on an international competition on realistic painting that I won third place in the portraiture category in. And this all showed, let's see if I can find my painting here, nice and big. But this show, here it is, all of the winning pieces. This is mine right here. This is what I was doing before I did comics. I was a realist oil painter, not photorealist, but realist. So yeah, these all the winning pieces from this and a few other Purchase Award pieces all showed. Like, I can't believe I got third place when there's paintings like that. But this all showed at Sotheby's auction house in New York, which was probably besides the Eisners. Well, no, Sotheby's is much fancier than the Eisners. Hate to break it to you. So that was probably the fanciest thing that's ever happened to me in my life, and the fanciest thing I've ever done. So that's really cool. And that's you can see these are all the people, just the finalists. These aren't even semi-finalists and people who got kicked out. So that was probably the biggest honor I've got in my fine art career through that book. So that's what those are. And then over here, this is mostly old books from Tori's and her little weird pagan ritual thing. The only thing that's mine on here is this Complete Lovecraft that I'm going through very slowly. Tori really likes The Office. She pretty much plays it 24/7. That's how when she was in school, she was studying. I'm sure she's probably watched it like 150 times through. Here's some more comics over here on another one of Tori's shelves. These are all books that Tori and I plan on talking about together. Far Sector, Nausicaa. I haven't read most of these. Lore Olympus. I've read this Exquisite Corpse. The End. I've read these two. And there's a couple other ones here. This is a really good Dash Shaw book. This one I just finished. I'm a terminal cancer patient, but I'm fine. So those are just books that we're going to go through. A couple of them are just hers. And then for Christmas, I got her this really nice Beehive Books edition. Well, I guess I got it for us because I like it as well because it's illustrated by Dave McKean. But it's a copy of Crime and Punishment. So she just likes having classics and really nice versions. And that's a really beautiful... Beehive does amazing stuff. And I also got her the Labyrinth Clue game. And then, I don't know, these are all textbooks or whatever that because she's color sensitive, has organized largely by color. And then here we have another couple that's over in the corner in Tori's office. There's a witchy broom we made at Halloween out of crap in our backyard. And the dogs have knocked off all the sticks that we used and have left giant clumps of hair on the floor, because that's what happens when you live with 2 Labrador retrievers. So this was mostly Tori's school stuff, which is a little sad to look at now that she's had to withdraw because of COVID, but we're hoping that taking a year off will get her back to where she can finish nursing school. But I don't know, maybe not. It may not be safe to be a nurse if this is what happens when she gets COVID or any kind of infection. Anyways, downer. Sorry. This is my Tezuka shelf. Got a little burnt out on Tezuka, honestly. Like, Ode to Kirihito is my favorite, but his stuff can get a little, I don't know. He's good, but I need a break. This is just a bunch of stuff I've picked up at, like, Second and Charles or Ollie's. Just, this is all Batman stuff. I really hate that DC doesn't put anything, like, really that you can see on their hardcovers. Like, if you take the dust jackets off, this is all Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo stuff. I think I've got everything but the first 3 of those, and I've gotten them all for like $4 or $5 a pop. So I wish that they would do more like this, where there's at least an image on it. But this is mostly Batman. There's some Green Lantern and Superman, and then you kind of go into like Jim Lee and Sean Gordon Murphy. And then from Sean Gordon Murphy, because he's collaborated with Grant Morrison, into a pretty good expanding Grant Morrison collection. Most of this is all stuff that I've got this year. I think I only had a couple Grant Morrison books ahead of this year, but he's someone else like Alan Moore that I'd really like to go back and do a really thorough, like, career evaluation of. I know a lot of Grant Morrison stuff, like Animal Man and The Invisibles, I love, and then there's other stuff by him that I just really hate. Like, I don't really like these Wonder Woman Earth 1 books, but again, these were Ollie's buys for like $4 or $5 a piece, and Enoch Paquette's got great art. So Morrison's a mixed bag for me. These are all mostly ones I really like, but you know, it'd be good to do a full thing. And then going into like Warren Ellis and Mark Miller, those just all kind of seem related to me. My old original, like, this is the X-Men number. This is the book that got me into comics. I was already buying the Ninja Turtles. Well, I shouldn't say that. The Ninja Turtles got me into comics, but I went to buy a Ninja Turtles comic while we were visiting my grandmother, and my brother picked up this, and I'm pretty sure this is the one he picked up. I may have gone and bought myself a copy at some point, but I think this is the copy that my brother picked up. And when we got back to my grandma's house and I finished reading the Ninja Turtles, we swapped, and I remember sitting on her guest bed reading this and just being like, holy shit, I need to be able to draw like this guy. And Jim Lee became everything to me. So these are just nostalgia. I just love those for nostalgia. I also have over here, like, I need to get the other one of these, but this has all that stuff in it. It doesn't have all this uncanny. And then putting together some Daredevil stuff. I like Mark Waid's run, especially the Chris Somney stuff, and I like the Bendis. So as I find these used, I'll grab them. And just some other Bendis stuff. I don't know why this is in the middle, all the Bendis. And then my Trad Moore stuff. This is really valuable stuff to me. I really, really hope this new Doctor Strange one that they're doing, they release in this oversized like they did Silver Surfer Black. Because I will buy the shit out of that book. Here we've got Just some random things, some Dark Horse. I kind of just crammed all the Dark Horse stuff over here, and there's just some random stuff like Age of Ultron or whatever I picked up because I like Brian Hitch. I'll just grab if I find these books, like I said, at Ollie's or Second and Charles for pretty cheap, I'll grab them just because I like the artists, good memories of artists. So a lot of Dark Horse stuff here. And then my super old school Sandman collection. I've actually been really reluctant to buy any of the Sandman Absolutes because I don't like the recoloring on the early issues that I've seen. I really like the external design of the books looking like these big tomes, but I don't like what they've done with the coloring. So I've just been like, not too excited to pull the trigger on that. And then related to Sandman, I think, is the Fables. So these are other things that nowhere near a complete, but these four here have been at Ollie's for $5 a piece or something when they should be like $30. So how are you not going to buy that? But I would really love to have a complete hardcover deluxe edition of Fables. I don't know that I like the omnibus. Like, I would rather have this in the deluxe format because it's easier to hold this individual volume. When they get like this here, and this isn't even the hugest one, it just gets like this Batwoman thing. It's just such a big book. It looks cool on the shelf, but these are hard to read. So I think I prefer this format, and when I can, I'll get books like that. These are obviously now being like remarked and just sent out to these bargain stores. So I doubt that I'll ever be able to get the complete series from Ollie's, but hopefully over time I can get that, or they'll re-release them and I'll buy them on a re-release. So anyways, that's all the bookshelves we have now. I think it's a significant amount more than last year, like I said, and we'll have to calm down a little bit. But I know a lot of this stuff I have reviewed, but if there's anything you see in this video that you haven't seen a review for, check the channel. You can search real quick to see if we've done a video. Just search the channel. But if there's something on here that I haven't reviewed yet that you would really like to see a review of, or something that you would like to see me and Sean go through, like I would really like to get Sean reading The Invisibles, let me know. I think that's maybe the most important reason to do a shelf tour. It's other than that, it just seems like kind of this weird showing off. People seem like, this is me and Tori goofing around. She also likes to do art, way more cute than mine, but we like to sit around and doodle together. So that's my shelves. I hope that there's something in there that you would like us to react to. That's really why I'm doing it. So thanks for following along. I hope you enjoyed it.